What's happening, everybody? This is G-Man with Kel. We are out of town. First remote podcast for the What's the Matter podcast show. How you doing, Kel? Man. Oh, man, after a while, you're going to think I'm punking you or something.
But I wasn't looking straight at you.
At least I'm being consistent. Love it. All right. So what's been going on since last time I saw you?
Just getting back in the swing after getting back from Sedona, and just catching up on stuff, getting stuff, put away, and getting back in the swing and hanging out. Not a whole lot going on this past week.
Do you call it the rat race?
No.
No,
I don't participate in the rat race.
That's right.
I don't do 9 to 5. I don't do any of that corporate stuff.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But
I did go to the Polo Lounge on Friday night and went dancing. That was fun.
I went on last Friday. I went to the ostrich races, the camel and ostrich races in Virginia City. It's been a long time since I've been to Virginia City. Truth be told, I don't know. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah.
You got to know what to expect over there. Let's put it that way. Okay, so we have a couple of guests here today, and I'm excited. It had been a couple of years since I rolled in on this guy.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I surprised him. I don't know if he got mad at me, but I went into his office and kind of posed as the police officer. And so it's just like, I'm Sergeant so-and-so with the Carson City Police Department. I'm looking for Mr. Spike McGuire. And he's like, that's me. So I won't do that again, though. So yes, Mr. Spike McGuire with the Brewery Arts Center. We also have his cohort, Jamie.
You can.
Yeah.
Either way.
Why not?
Jamie
Okay.
Lynn is when I'm in trouble. So
Right.
Yeah. I
I'm
like
Kelly
that.
Lynn.
Okay.
So,
That's why I go by Kel.
Jamie Lynn Woodham. Okay.
ah,
Get some love too.
thank you.
That's a fun part of this job, guys, is being able to use these lame side effects. I got Kel's approval to do it, though.
I love it.
Yeah,
but I'm
she's
an
a-
old dork, so
Yeah, she's a 90s kid. She says those.
I like that.
that came with the. No, you found that, didn't you?
Yeah, I
It didn't
found
come
it
with the
somewhere.
record.
No, I found it somewhere. I
It,
think of the
Roadcaster
tune.
has a cute one too, but
Yeah,
That was
I
catchy.
tell people where I got it, but they're not a sponsor yet. So
okay.
Ooh.
yeah, we got to
we'll
hold
have
out.
to. We'll have to hold
Stay
out.
tuned.
But I'm going to definitely give some love to the Brewery Arts Center over here. When was it? It was a few months back for sure. Maybe 6 months ago, we were over here with my wife's daughter. And so the facility over here.
Our
in the
performance
corner-
hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's we were over here just, miring around, and I bump into Jamie, and, she says, oh yeah, Spike's like the director. I'm like, say what?
Yeah, Spike's in charge and I
Hell's
work
going
here
on
now.
here?
We took it
Yeah.
over.
I love it, man. So we conspired to kind of eventually have something like this. And so, now is the time. So I want to introduce first and foremost Mr. Spike McGuire, who is a local legend in many ways, right?
I don't want
Seriously.
to
No
toot my
question.
horn.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
didn't know-
3 against 1. We all voted yes.
Yeah, I didn't even know you played horns.
That's one of my hobbies.
We know he's a magician.
Yes.
How long's it been?
Since my magic career?
Yeah.
Oh, years.
Yeah.
I gave up on magic pretty early on.
Did you throw some juggling in there too?
Yeah, well, I was born in a circus family. My mom was the PR director at Circus Circus. She was one of the first female
Right.
casino executives in Reno. She hired my dad to be a clown. I think that'd be a red flag, but it worked out for him. And then he became the entertainment director. So yeah, I got my start in kind of the circus arts.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, I did. I peppered in some magic in my juggling show early on. But magic, no matter how good you get, everyone thinks they're fooling you. Whereas if you juggle, people just go, "Oh man, that guy spent a lot of time learning that."
Right.
Just
It
step it up.
always sounds like the start of a joke when Spike says, well, I started out in the circus, but it's real. I love that story.
Yeah.
Oh,
What about a
true.
unicycle?
No, I had a partner in my act, and he did the unicycle ride, and so I never felt compelled to learn.
Okay.
It's just like when I was in 6 Mile Station. I bought a banjo, determined to learn it, and then I hired John Underwood 2 weeks later and sold the
Got
banjo
that.
right after.
Hey,
Know
that-
your strengths.
yeah, exactly.
There's power in that.
Well, that happens in business too.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of people. Well, of course, the failure rate's 50. Small Business Administration about 50% within
Ouch.
5 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so kind of like you'll have these what they call technicians, right? It's somebody that's really good at something, or somebody that loves something to do something, and either themselves or somebody will encourage them, you know, you should start a business, you know, and they get started in the business and like, oh shit, I got to be good at math.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'm
wait,
not
I
good at
have to
math.
actually
Yeah.
run the business
Yeah,
too. I don't
no.
just get to do what I do for
I don't
fun.
do that shit. I need to hire somebody. And then, you know, they'll hire somebody and now they're adding to their overhead and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's, you know, it ain't easy.
It's complicated.
Hey,
Know your strengths. I
Yeah.
think our staff here
Yeah.
is set up that way where each person is really good at exactly what they do. It feels very
everyone on
collaborative
the
and
team.
clockwork. Like there's stuff Spike does that I can't even touch. And
yeah.
Val, our deputy director, I wouldn't even know where to begin with her list of things she does, but
Right.
she doesn't do what I do. So
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, we've
Sounds
got a
like-
very small crew, but you know, everyone's
Small but
specialties
mighty.
coming together. We have 6 full-time staff, and we, between our rentals and our classes and our theater shows and our music shows and our citywide events, we're doing over 500 things a year here with our 6-person staff.
With 6
That's it.
doing.
We do have a wonderful pool of volunteers as well. So I would be remiss if I did not mention, you know, we've got 30 or 40 people that are just very dedicated to bringing arts to the community and really have been a huge asset. And that is a key ingredient in what keeps Brewery Arts Center going.
And just put out the call today for more volunteers. People can come play in many capacities here too.
Right.
If you want to volunteer at the Brewery Arts Center, open door, come on in.
Heck yeah. And that lovely voice that you heard, just to remind you guys, is Miss Jamie Lynn Woodham. And so do you remember where I met you?
Radio something. What were we doing? It's
Well,
either theater or radio.
I met you, Oliver X introduced us, and we were at not Idlewild, Wingfield.
During an Art Town
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all a blur, but it's in there.
Yeah,
It's
you-
filed away in the memory bank.
Yeah. I can't, you know, I was going to say something, but I got to remember that you work for a nonprofit.
Be nice.
That's right. Okay, so let's be nice. So, so let's kind of give a purview of the brewery arts. First of all, let's test Jamie.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
'cause
Do you
did
see
you
I have
hire
my
her?
calendar in my
Did you
lap?
Yeah.
You said that this building, for example, goes back to 1864. It's this used to be a brewery,
Mhm.
right? And so 50 years ago, they converted the brewery. Or tell us the history of the brewery.
Spike's got this
Oh.
nailed down. He's got it so much better than I do.
She's delegating, right?
It's around here.
We believe in multi-directional delegation here at Brewery Arts Center. Not only do I assign tasks, but I'm happy to assume
Did
tasks.
he just make up a word?
No, I think that's real.
Multi-directional delegation.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's it's part of a new reverse funnel system that I'm working on. If you'd
I haven't
like
been to
invest
college.
now, I'm taking investors for my new scheme. But to get back
Yeah.
to the question at hand, so the building that we are sitting in currently, this is the oldest commercial building in Nevada. It was built in 1864 for the Carson Brewing Company, which actually started in this same parcel in 1860, and then it was 1864. Business was going so great, they built this building. It is on the National Historic Register. And in 1948, I like to say that they switched from brews to news. The Nevada Appeal took over the building
that's
as their
why
headquarters.
he answers this question.
And then in 1975, a ragtag group of artists filed their articles of incorporation for the group that would become the Brewery Arts Center, with the main goal of buying this building and turning it into the cultural hub of Carson City, which I'm proud to say 50 years later, I think has come to fruition.
50 years right now.
Yeah,
It's
50
about
years
to be
right
our
now.
birthday.
So they
September
signed-
19th. There's some debate about it.
There's
Oh my
lots of
goodness.
It's our
hot
birthday.
debate. We decided to go with, they've filed the articles of incorporation on September 19th, 1975. So I said, that's the day we're going for the 50-year anniversary.
Yeah, because that made it official.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's very fun. So we've got a year of events celebrating that. It all kicks off in a couple weeks with our 3rd annual Murals and Music Festival, which is going September 15th through the 20th. And then it'll carry all the way through to our 4th annual Murals and Music Festival, which will culminate on September 9th, 2026.
Yeah, when you turn 50, you celebrate for a whole year.
Yeah.
That's how we do it in Carson City.
That's right.
How do you guys find your artists? Let's talk about that.
Well, which medium of artists would you like to discuss? Our musicians, our painters, our...
The painters.
So there's been a wonderful teaching crew that has been, a lot of the teachers have been here longer than a lot of us, and we bring in new folks all of the time. We're really excited for one of our new instructors, Paulo Acuna. This is to me is a telltale sign that we are doing good things with the organization. Him and his wife, they were living in Alaska and they were ready for a change of scenery, a change of pace. So they toured a few cities throughout the country and they stopped in Carson City and coming to the Brewery Arts Center. They were like, this is the community we want to be a part
Literally
of.
just wandered into the downstairs exhibition hall. I had a conversation with them and we hit it off right away. And now they live here.
You know, he is an extremely accomplished, very high profile artist. So we're really lucky to have him. Last year, we put a sculpture garden behind our performance hall building. And right now, if you go take a peek, there's 7 just chunks of Italian marble sitting there. And Paulo is going to be slowly carving those into sculptures over the next few months. And it's really cool because they're going to be outside in the space so people can just kind of stop by and watch the progress as it goes. You know, we really like everything to be hands-on, very accessible. Our mission statement is enriching the quality of life by cultivating arts and culture for all. So that's real fun. You can just pop by and see Paulo there. We are always trying to expand our educational offerings. So if there are any art teachers out there that would like to get involved with the Brewery Arts Center, you can go ahead and shoot me an email. My email is just spike@breweryarts.org. We're always looking for collaborators in every direction. We have a very open door.
Any kind of medium. We have a pottery studio and we do paint and sips every Friday. There's a lady that does cello lessons in one of our classrooms. So a variety of mediums would be great to have in this space. More teachers, the better.
I was just going to ask, are there any holes in staff, any particular teachers that you guys are looking for that you need?
You know, we would love to get some watercolor instructors in here. We're not offering a watercolor class right now. But, you know, there's so many artistic mediums, it's hard to represent them all. So we're just kind of open to anything folks want to
Things
present.
we haven't thought of yet would be cool. I'd love for somebody to walk in. I think we had a gentleman propose a bonsai cutting the bonsai tree class. Like,
wouldn't that be
something
awesome?
like that. Maybe like,
Origami, maybe?
yes.
Well, wait a
Calligraphy.
minute. Last week we discovered that kale kills plants.
Okay.
Well, I
Sure.
might be all right with a bonsai.
Yeah.
We can do bamboo.
He's
I'll
not
stop.
joking.
Seriously.
I'm the same way. I killed my baby aloe plant and they're like the
Oh,
easiest.
God.
I know.
Right? It's like, is my breath that bad?
Now a
Like,
murder
what-
mystery show. Cal and Jamie. No, I overwater.
I'm
I over nurture.
I think that's what I do
feel
too.
like
I
it
think I
needs something
overwater.
and it doesn't.
Right?
I'm looking at the work though. It's pretty cool. Very, very vibrant. So okay, Spike, let's go ahead and switch over to the musician side. How do you guys find your talent to perform here?
All sorts of ways. So our main music program, I'll give you the background on that, and then I'll get into how we book the acts for it. Okay. Our big main thing is we get a grant from the Levitt Foundation, which is just this incredible foundation. Started by Mortimer and Mimi Levitt. They made a mint in the garment industry, and then right around when they were retiring, somebody asked them to make a big donation for an amphitheater that was getting built in Southern California. And so they came out to some of the first shows, which were all free shows, and they were just shocked at the way barrier-free access to live music could bring the community together. And they were so touched by that impact that they wanted to spread it as far as they could. So they started this great foundation that today has grown to over 35 cities that get the same grant that we do, another 11 cities with Levitt pavilions, which are even bigger. And they also have, you know, smaller grants that activate smaller neighborhoods in major cities. And they put on over 650 shows a year. So we have been lucky enough to get the funding from them for the last 9 years. We just got renewed for another 3 years of funding. It's a matching grant. So in order for us to secure the money from the Levitt Foundation, we have to get support from local businesses. And we have tons of great local businesses. Connection Central has been our presenting sponsor for the last several years, which is another BAC program we can get into in a little bit. But it's just this really great program. And because of that, we get to do 10 absolutely free concerts every summer. Our mobile stage up in front of the Performance Hall building. And we fit about 2,000 people in the parking lot every week. We have some food trucks. We have bars. We have a whole kids zone. The Boys and Girls Club and the Children's Museum down here come and give some great activities for the kiddos there.
It's become quite a tradition here in Carson City now. They look forward to this summer series, and people are welcome to bring their own lawn chairs and their own picnic stuff as well. We have a family that takes over one of the picnic tables, literally puts out a cover and sets up, and the whole family's out there. The kids are running around. If you go to our Facebook page, you can see all the pictures posted of this year and previous years. It's just like a big community block party, and it's so much fun.
That must
And
be
it's
so
absolutely
much
free.
fun.
It's tons of fun, and it's 10 Saturdays. and we get to do a different genre of music every Saturday. So they look forward to Celtic night. And then there's reggae night, a little country, a little rock, a little bit of everything. Some people don't even look at the schedule anymore. They just show up. They know it's going to be a good time, and they're going to see all their friends and family and community members. They're going to dance. It's going well.
It's one of my favorite
It is.
comments we get is people come out and say, this isn't really a genre I like, but I came anyways, and that band was great.
Yeah. I discovered something new, and I had a good time. And they bring their families that are traveling as well, because it's 10 weeks, so they can plan summer vacations. And we do have people that say, I plan my Carson visits around your Levitt concerts now.
And the Federal
pat on the
Hotel
back.
at the Max Casino, they've been a great partner. They actually offer a room rate for anyone who's coming to town to come to brewery
Discounted
arts
room.
things.
That was my next question.
Wow.
Actually, are there any partners that you guys would like to give a shout out to?
Lots.
Oh, absolutely them. Nashville Social Club, which is another
Oh,
great
yeah,
venue
that's
down
a-
here in
it is.
Carson, and a wonderful restaurant. So they were our green room sponsor, and they did full catering for every band we had this summer. And the bands, all of the bands said it was the best
Our
catering they
bands
had
get
on
a
that
little
tour.
spoiled when
Good
they come to the
grub.
BAC. They do. We take
Yeah.
good care of them.
Yeah.
They have a good time.
What's the now I was thinking that, of course, unfortunately, if you were to, I think, ask the average person, and if they said, what's the capital of Nevada? Wouldn't you say that?
Think they'd go
Would
Vegas?
they-
I don't know. I
I
think
think
Carson
so.
City.
I don't know. It
I think
seems like
people think
like-
that Vegas and Carson City are right next to
They
each
think
other.
Reno
Yeah.
and Carson. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They
But I
definitely think Reno
I
and
think they know
Vegas are.
Carson's the capital. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never run into
Yeah.
that mistake.
You asked the average Nevadan what the capital
Well,
was.
yeah,
I think
that's-
they would know, and I
they
think
would
if you
know.
asked outside of Nevada, they would have a tough time. But if
That's
you
what
asked
I'm
me the
saying.
capital of
Yeah.
most states, I would
Yeah.
not even know
Really?
where to
To
start
throw
on
back
that.
to my
Weren't you- wasn't that you guys in
memory
school?
games.
I forget you guys. You're so much younger. See, we were drilled. We
Yeah.
had to know that shit.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I still-
remember
I still
doing
do.
those games where you'd have to say it over and over, or the little songs you sing.
Like
so it
Alaska.
sticks.
You don't know what,
I always-
like Alaska with the
Juno.
Juno.
I was talking to Spot.
I would have got that
God,
one. That was one of the few I would have known.
I was always like, I always thought they were trying to fake people out because why wasn't it the major city from every state?
Like California, no, Sacramento. Why Sacramento?
Right. Or like Pierre,
Yeah.
Dakota, and it's like,
No, I think-
Montpelier, Vermont.
I
What?
think Carson.
Hey, that's the way this show is ran, you guys. Just to let you know, you never know
Thank
what's
you
gonna
for the
pop
heads up. No, I think Carson City makes it well known that they are the capital. Carsonites are proud. They are
Oh,
super
yeah.
proud and protective of their space.
Mhm.
Spike was mentioning that the BAC in particular is historically protected. We have to get permission before we change light bulbs or touch anything. And,
Wow.
we're in the West Side
Seriously?
Historic.
Yeah.
100%.
Who did you get permission from?
The Historic Resource Commission, which is local here to Carson City, and also the State Historic Preservation Office.
That's
I don't have a problem with that.
And
No,
it's
I don't
fixable.
either.
Because if
and
you're not that strict in this day and age, stuff just falls apart.
Yeah.
Like stuff, just nobody takes
Or goes away, gets
or it
plowed
goes
over
away.
and turned into
because
something.
nobody will stand up and take the responsibility for the hard work, this meticulous, picky dicky hard work of maintaining,
Yeah.
a certain level
And,
of.
I'll say too that the State Historic Preservation Office, they aren't just here to enforce rules on us. They have also given us an incredible amount of funding
Sure.
to update the buildings, to preserve the buildings. We just did a major, it's like a $350,000 brick restoration on the face of the brewery building.
to keep it looking as it
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, not just to keep it looking as it should, but also to get rid of, like 100 years worth of lead paint, which were then like,
Oh, yeah. no,
safely and properly taken away and
Any asbestos?
done.
No.
Hope not
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
on the outside.
Yeah. Well, that's good though. So, like these particular light bulbs right here.
Yeah.
Those are not bought from Home Depot.
They
Sure
could-
about
I'd have
those.
to ask our operations director where they come from, but they do. They just like to know
Sure.
everything that's switching out, everything that's changing.
This
If
is
you're
a beautiful
rewiring
room.
anything
Mhm.
or any
Yeah,
kind of.
so we're in the grand ballroom right now,
This is great.
and this was the original Masonic lodge.
Somehow
got
I
that
knew
feel
that.
to it, yeah.
We felt that when we walked in, didn't we?
Yeah.
I said, this isn't just a Rotary
This
building.
room
yeah.
hosts a lot of parties, and it is set up because Rotary just met. They meet, the Carson City Rotary Club uses this space every Tuesday
Tuesday,
for their
yeah.
meetings,
Yeah.
but we have weddings up here, live music events, celebrations of life,
Well-
art events. All the spaces are rentable to do whatever you want. So once it's yours, it's
That's
fun to see how
cool.
people use the space.
But I mean, just by virtue of the fact that it's across the street from the Capitol building, you know,
See it
shit
right
went
out
on in
that
here.
window. You can
Yep.
open that curtain in a minute. I'll
The
show you. It's
refacing they're doing is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's really nice. I'm impressed.
So Spike, as you know, and you know too, Jamie, like artists, sometimes they have a difficulty, especially in their early part of their careers, getting connected with their community, right? There's almost, I guess, the testing ground that everybody goes through, so to speak, in order to be, being booked for shows and stuff like that. So how do you guys help, say, a new band or a new artist or something like that that's wanting to kind of crack in and let people know about their work?
So when we do those Levitt Amp summer concerts that I was telling you about, those are really about bringing in nationally and regionally touring artists and even some international artists. But we also get to highlight one local band to open the show every month for that. So that's a great way to highlight the new musicians coming out. As far as fine art goes, we have our exhibition hall downstairs, which is some pretty heavy hitters from the Nevada art scene. That was something that was really important to me when I came in. We've done a lot of traveling exhibitions and stuff before I came in, but it was really important to me. And I'm like, we're in the Capitol. We need to highlight the best of Nevada.
Keep it local.
And so what we have now coming into that exhibition hall is the entire lobby is dedicated to new and emerging artists. We've really been reaching into rural communities and grabbing artists that, wouldn't have a lot of opportunities to show their art.
So that's fascinating. So how do you find them?
A lot of those come from Eric Brooks, our art curator. He works over at Visit Carson City Visitor Center as well, and he brings in a lot of our artists. And
he's amazing. Yeah. He's an amazing artist himself.
He is an amazing
love
artist
his work.
himself. Yeah,
it's a great partnership.
Yeah, so you kind of he bird dogs for you. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And we have a satellite gallery in the Carson City Visitor Center as well. The Visit Carson City offices. That's at 716 North Carson Street. They're open from 9 to 5 every day. Our exhibition hall is open 12 to 4 Tuesday through Sunday here. And then we are also, one cool thing is we get to, kind of be the home base for a lot of other nonprofits. So the Nevada Artists Association has their own dedicated gallery here as well, which is a competition-based gallery, so everyone that comes in kind of votes on their favorite pieces, and then different pieces get awarded prizes at the end of every gallery show, which is really a great way for new artists in the Nevada scene to get their works on display for the first time.
Yeah.
And they've been around since the beginning as well. The NAA group was part of the original that helped buy this building. So they've been here for the 50 years as well, building their own nonprofit and their own energy. And
so let's talk about how, of course, with the Levitts, then there's the matching that the public community has to do. And so one of the ways for people to do that is through membership. Now, as I looked on your website, I think you guys have them separated, like anywhere from 50.
Yeah, different tiers and categories.
Yeah,
you could do a personal membership or a corporate membership with your business. You can give membership as a gift, and each tier is packed with different perks and rewards.
They start at $50, which is, $50 for the year. Which is pretty reasonable.
It's not bad at all.
It's not even $5 a month.
Yeah.
And that gets you into, we do a artist reception for everything we bring to the exhibition hall. Members get a private reception a full hour before the public comes in. We do champagne and small bites and stuff, and kind of a more intimate chance to talk with the artist. And then at that $50 level, also anyone who is an artist, we send out the invite to all of the members. We do an annual member show in the exhibition hall. And so all BAC members are invited to submit at least one piece for that. So that's kind of a fun way to just tie in the community that's built around here. And then, as it goes up from there, like once you hit the $200 level, you get $5 off every pre-sale ticket for every show. Like, if you wanted to buy 20 tickets for you and your friends, you would get $5 off every ticket that you bought with your member code that you get sent to you.
Most of our events are free, but if you are a member, you're getting that discount.
And we would recommend people buy 20 tickets at a time and give them away. It's a good idea.
Right. Everybody has stuff. I like giving the gift of experiences.
And that's, and that extends to like, we have a resident theater company in the Maisie Black Box Proscenium Players, which is the second oldest theater company in Nevada. They do 3 shows a year, and they honor the BAC membership code for all of the shows that they do in our Black Box Theater. Yeah.
They
And
send their people out to help volunteer. They're a very collaborative group, too. They consider the BAC their home. A lot of companies have used that space, but they're like the resident one that's always here. Super great to work with PPI. They're currently working on their October show, which is they're celebrating their big anniversary, too. I think it's
60 years for the
Nick and Old
place.
Lace, a show they did
Oh.
in the past, and they're bringing that back in October. They're in rehearsals right now, so
Yeah.
it's fun having that energy around the
Yeah,
space.
and theater. Have you ever done theater, Cal?
Bits and pieces,
What do you mean?
not like in school and
Uh-huh.
like a little bit of stuff a long
Like
time
community
ago.
theater?
Yeah, community theater and stuff
Okay.
like that. But I was like, I didn't have much confidence. I was overweight and I couldn't memorize lines. So I usually ended
Oh.
up an extra in the chorus or something.
Yeah, or like back on the production.
Yeah,
building
and
sets.
or backstage. Like I
Yeah.
was worked on
The
it.
tech is just as
Yeah, I was
important,
tech.
though.
She was a tomboy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to build sets, paint, get
Did you
dirty.
know that?
No.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Well, I'm an only child, so I had to be the son and the daughter, and I much preferred football, cars, and beer to cooking, cleaning, and
It's
sewing.
fun. You can do what you like.
That's right. That's right. All right. And so, as you were mentioning, though, more is better. So you get the more you give, the more you get.
Yeah, totally. And like we have corporate memberships too, which kind of gets you a lot of like advertising opportunities as well.
I will tag you on
BAC
Facebook
stuff.
all day long if your
Uh-huh.
business is sponsored.
You know, and the bigger you go on the corporate, like you'll get a space for a free corporate holiday party every year. We do workshops for businesses, like improve your team through improv is one of them, and just kind of creative team building, using the arts as team building. And yeah, the memberships help a lot. So something that a lot of people don't realize, which is a misconception I'm really trying to actively fix. A lot of people think that we are like somehow city funded, but
Same thing with community radio. Same thing
Yeah.
with America Matters.
Nothing.
you know, the city sponsor, like they pay us to put on the Silver and Snowflake Festival of Lights for them, but
Sure.
that's all, that's just kind of the budget goes into
Yeah.
Right,
the event. that we
Right.
plan.
It's a member
But like they
supported.
don't, they are not involved in the match on the concerts. They're not. Yeah. So it's really like very
They're like a line
grassroots.
item on their budget for a couple things.
We're not on that list.
Yeah. So it's all about the members, and it's just about folks coming to shows and just the end of year donations that come in. We're very excited. As part of the 50-year anniversary, we're doing the first gala that BAC has done in a long time. So we're going to have our Golden Jubilee Gala on April 2026.
Exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, which is also my 40th birthday.
was
So I'm
just
going to
gonna
use
say
I'll
it's
guilt people
birthday.
into giving us a little more.
Oh,
for that
heck
one.
yeah. We'll
Yeah.
come to celebrate.
BAC's 50, Spike's 40. These are
Yeah.
important milestones.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, so we haven't even put out the save the date yet. So I guess listeners are
heard it
hearing
here
it here
first.
first. But
Oh boy.
And it's
Breaking
Breaking
exclusive.
news.
we're going to have quite a party. There's only going to be 80 tickets available. We're going to do it up here in the ballroom. Mark Esty is our celebrity chef.
Oh,
I'm actually right now.
Damn.
We're going to have just all kinds of entertainment going through. It's going to be, we're really going out of our way to make it a
Oh,
special
awesome.
experience.
So
And it's-
Spike's 40th.
Well, it's good to hear
Yeah.
too that you're doing a gala because like we used to have like pre-COVID, we had, parties and galas and chocolate and beer and brewing and all kinds of barbecue
It's all
events
come back.
Yeah.
It's
and
all
it
here.
all
It's all
just
happening.
died. And I remember just being invited to stuff constantly. And I mean, Mardi Gras went away. How do we
Yeah.
lose Mardi Gras, for God's sake? That was our best event.
It's building back here,
so yeah,
especially in
it
Carson
is.
City.
And
We've
that's
got
it's great to see you guys driving the.
when COVID did happen, it was during the Levitt concerts, and I love the story of Mikey, our facility manager, that put the bands on a flatbed truck and drove.
I
it around
remember that.
Carson
I remember
City.
that. That was
Keep
was
the music
great.
going.
Yep.
There's always a way to pivot and adapt and keep art accessible, even when you can't sit right
And
next to each
it's
other.
even
But
more critical at that.
100%.
really-
We learned
yeah.
that, how
Yes.
important it was that people needed music and
Yeah.
art and
outlets. Those
Well,
creative
now
outlets.
speaking of that, Jamie, speaking of the keeping art going, there's, of course, everybody knows there's been over the last few decades, cuts in, education as far as keeping the arts going and, vocational aspects and things like that. So as far as barriers go, you guys both chime in, but what barriers do emerging artists, whether they're musicians or whether they're painters or any artists sculpting, what barriers do you see that they still are experienced that may even surprise you or other people?
Sure. I'd say sometimes they just don't know where to start, who to ask. Like we mentioned, the new and emerging artist lobby. That might be a show from an artist that has never shown in a gallery before. And you would walk into a fancier, air quotes, gallery, and they would say, no, who are you? Why? We open the door and teach them how to mount their work, what a contract looks like, how to get your art in a space. And then you can put it on your resume too, that you showed in an actual gallery. It's like, how do I become a member when I'm not a member yet?
Yeah.
They're kind of stuck. Or fees, membership fees. Sometimes artists are starving artists is a real
Yeah.
thing. They can't afford to pay to play.
So some of these best business practices, you guys teach them in these workshops, or is it just kind of like
This is more working with Eric
one-on-one?
Brooks, our curator, and our gallery. Patricia Best is our exhibition hall manager, and she will she was a teacher in her previous life,
there
so
we
she
go.
loves to walk a student. We had a student photographer as one of our shows last month. He's going to be a senior at Carson High. It was his very first art show ever. And she worked with him directly about kind of how to frame, how to title, how to present his work.
Nice.
So
Nice.
just-
What about you, Spike? Any challenges, barriers come to mind that artists are currently going through as far as breaking through?
Yeah, well, I mean, as an artist myself, I think that's part of the fun of the challenges. It's just literally nothing but barriers and hurdles, but we definitely try and make sure that we have art accessible to everyone. Like Jamie said, a lot of our events are free, but the classes have class fees. The theater performances have fees, but we have a really strict policy of never turning anyone away for not being able to afford a show. And we're like very open and vocal about that. Anyone who needs support or needs help in those things, like we always have a little kind of scholarship fund set aside, if you will. So we'll have students that pay half price for classes based on, just financial necessity.
Because it is important to pay those teachers too, those artists. The teachers are artists as well. So that's how they make their livings. Both.
And I mean,
Take
it's
care of
like,
both.
it's funny. I feel like, not to get too philosophical here, but I kind of feel like the biggest barrier at the moment is kind of the opposite of what the problem used to be. Is it used to be like really hard to have any sort of platform for your work at all to break in. And now everyone has the internet and so it's like, it's a lot easier to make content. Like you can record, musicians can record pretty decent sounding recordings at home.
Oh, yeah.
But then you just like throw them into the void.
Yeah, with thousands of
You know,
people
so
doing
it's-
the same thing.
So it's like right now I feel like it's the easiest time to have the resources to create, but then it's also the hardest time to generate attention behind any of the things that you're doing.
Just marketplace.
I think that's why the local and smaller aspect is important because it's community through art. You can make a Facebook page that has 10,000 viewers, but do you know them? Have you ever met them? Are they going to buy your art? Are they going to come to your show and shake your hand? And the community center aspect of the Brewery Arts Center is huge here.
Yeah, and for people that are wanting, if they're serious about improving, right, then you have to, it's part of the requirement is opening yourself up to scrutiny. And what better and safer place that's not going to necessarily disrupt your career than having your community. Even sometimes, unfortunately, it's just like, hey, bro, I love you, but man, that song sucked.
That painting is weird.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah, is that
But-
fuchsia?
But it's fun artist collaboration
Yeah.
too. I love watching artists meet other artists in our spaces and then they go run off together and make a project. Or like Paolo from Alaska came and we were able to introduce him to all the Reno people, all the Carson people. And he just hit the ground running and is now building and painting. And it's a lot of collaborating, artists helping other artists for sure.
All right, Kel, what is this?
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Does that mean it's
No.
No,
we're
no.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
No. This is a segment of the
Tell
show
him.
that we do
Yeah.
where he tells jokes and
oh boy.
either
Yeah.
if we laugh that he's got something for that, and
Yeah.
then if we're
You
like
gotta earn it though. I'm not just
exactly
giving
no,
it. Just
absolutely.
laugh.
That's
So
exactly right.
if he
Tough
doesn't earn
crowd.
it, we get the crickets.
You need to be discerning.
I
So-
tell you, Jamie, we got to start listening to podcasts before we go on.
We're always
So
on
no,
podcasts.
no.
I don't have time. We've
Now
got
you
it
guys got
free
me
this
all
week.
sensitive and stuff. I don't want to get you guys
No,
fired.
You're gonna
or,
be who's gonna fire?
I mean,
They run the thing.
yeah. I mean, before we got on,
They are the
telling me
fire.
about. I didn't know that Spike had an OnlyFans page.
Well, that's the highest status membership. You can-
That's right. No, laughing crickets. So let's see. What should I start out with? I mispronounced this word before. Kel, remember when
Yeah.
we had Rob Russo
Which one?
on
Which word?
mimes? I'm not going to do that again.
The word
Well,
mimes, like
yeah,
black and white.
I
mimes?
accidentally said memes, but yeah, I
Was
know.
that the joke?
I had
I'm
a
not going to
friend,
make that mistake again.
who called them memes.
In your defense, that is a hard word to pronounce
Like-
because the mime is silent.
I think Spike wins this joke round.
So we're going to, we kind of talked about it already, just, maybe challenges and some tragedies that sometimes artists experience in their life that later on leads them to be inspired to do whatever talent that they kind of gravitate to. So, but relating to mimes, Cal, I just have to say, as far as like a confessional, there was one time where I was molested by a group of mimes. Yeah, what they did to me, there's some unspeakable things. She's not going to do it. She almost did.
Brady.
Spike, he held his ground too. Okay. All right. I'm not used to that. I was like 5-0 last week. All right. Why did the musician's wife file for divorce?
Why?
Because she was tired of the domestic violence.
God.
Wait, I got one. It counts. She
Domestic.
left- Yeah, see?
You got
it. All right.
Spike ain't giving it up.
Don't get mad at this. How do you make musicians in their car? How do you make their car more aerodynamic?
How?
Take the pizza sign off the top of the car.
Ouch. See, artists were sensitive.
The failure there, I think, was more the delivery than the material.
Oh, thank you. This next one I cannot say. I'm like really. This is like a long joke, and it has like some curse words in it. So I'm gonna
Since when?
challenging me.
No.
So let's go ahead and transition into the next little segment here, guys. Let's do that. So
Jokes are over?
yeah, maybe.
When did they start?
Well, that was the best one. That was good, Spike. I
That was
like
very
that.
good.
You forget, he came from the circus. He's like, he's on it all the time.
My goodness. So this one, we call this trials, triumphs, and the takeoff for early career challenges. So like, for example, challenges, like a lot of people, they told, I don't know if you knew this, but they told Beethoven, isn't he the guy that dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
that's Beethoven.
Beethoven.
Yeah. But in his early years, people just hated on him and told him that he wasn't going to be able to succeed, because he was deaf. But did he listen? Oh.
All right, I'll give you a little bit on that one. I like that one.
Yeah. Okay,
That was good.
that came in late. But let's explore how some world-renowned artists that began some have financial struggles and rejection. We talked about obscurity, a little bit, and how that can kind of wear on people. We were talking about it was about Hollywood. What's the matter with Hollywood? And we brought up Charlie Sheen's name, right? So everybody knows his story.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty crazy story of who his dad is.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff
all
like
new
that.
chapters coming out.
Well,
right
that's the
now.
whole thing. As like he's been sober for 8 years, because we were talking about how sometimes celebrities will be canceled, or they're blacklisted, but they make these comebacks, and so he's kind of seemingly qualified, for that. But I guess in your experience, I think, and Kellevi had talked about this a little bit, but of course, not all artists, but I would dare say many artists are compelled or motivated by something that happened to them when they're growing up. And it's not always the most positive thing. Like you guys, we all know somebody, I'm not going to mention names, but I was blown away that he has a mom that's homeless, alcoholic, homeless, was raised with that. We had one of our guests that grew up in North Valleys and later joined the Army. He's doing well now, but some of the challenges, some of the scars, and not necessarily, I'm not saying you guys open up, but I'm saying, does anything come to mind? Would you concur that there's some sort of something that happens that motivates them to stay in hours and hours and hours, only be there with their guitar, or hours and hours and hours and learning the brushstrokes by themselves with nobody there, nobody over their shoulder to tell them? They just do it because of that hurt. Can you guys comment on that a little bit?
Yeah, I'll comment on that a little bit. And I mean, I think it's just that you simply cannot overstate the therapeutic value of art. I spent 15 years before I was at Brewery Arts Center as a full-time touring musician myself. And that's like, for me, there's just no better therapy than getting out my guitar and just kind of beating it out on the guitar. And then if you can kind of let more out in words on top of that, I mean, it's just a very therapeutic thing. And it's also just, it's a release, it's like you go through these things and they get bottled up and they're racing through your mind.
Expression. Absolutely.
That's why they call them artistic outlets, is because it takes these things inside of you and lets them out. And so if you have a lot of hurtful or painful things bottled up inside of you, that's a great way to get it out. And just a story that comes to mind when we're talking about this topic. There's an amazing member of the Carson City community. Her name is Maria Merman. And, in her younger days, she literally fled from the Holocaust to America and had a wonderful life here, her and her husband. Shortly before the pandemic, her husband passed away, which was just like, they were together a very long time and very close, and just like an absolutely heartbreaking thing. Yeah. And then the pandemic happened. So then you add the isolation on top of that. And so she started doing these, for lack of a better word, tapestries, fiber art, we call it. There's one downstairs in our exhibition hall I can show you here. And actually there's a bunch of them across the street in our performance hall, but she didn't start making them,
she was elder.
Way later in life.
And so her world debut as an artist was here at Brewery Arts Center, because Patricia Best, our exhibition hall manager, said to Eric Brooks, our curator, she's like, you have to come to Maria's house and see what she's been doing the last few years. And each piece, it takes her 6 to 8 months to make one of these pieces, and they're just like very elaborate, very gorgeous, and like you can get lost in them forever. And her world debut as an artist was at the age of 80 years old.
Wow.
And people are taken by these pieces as well. They come in and they're striking,
No, they're incredible.
It's touching other people.
And it's a tapestry, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, for lack of a better word, I would call it a tapestry.
Very intricate, detailed.
Right. And their world debut is here, and then Brooks has also helped her. We've shown them kind of all over Nevada at this point, and now we have quite a few of them have their home here in the performance hall. But and these are pieces that are valued at $8,000 to $10,000, and she's selling them, and it's a very dark and difficult place that led her to this exploration of art.
Her story comes with the art as well, because you can read her bio. She's around. She lives here. People love to meet her and talk to her. So there's a connection. They can actually meet and touch and hug the woman who went through all of this and created something beautiful.
Does she do custom pieces, or is it something
I'm sure
that
if
she's
you ordered some
inspired?
from her.
I imagine that could be possible. Like I said, it takes 6 to 8 months per piece for her. And she's even said, she's like, well, I could probably do it in 3 months, but
Wow.
And she's a huge supporter of arts herself. Before we realized that she was working on these masterpieces, she's just out at a lot of BAC shows. Like we do a songwriter showcase here, and she'll come and she'll just buy 2 T-shirts and 3 CDs
She's
and whatever size.
To buy something off the wall as well when another artist is showing their work. She's the first one to walk in and
it's kind of like buying
purchase
a
art.
band's T-shirts.
And we asked her about it one time. I'm like, Maria, you got all these shirts, and none of them are your size. And she's like, I just get them and I give them out for Christmas presents so I can spread the art more. So guerrilla marketing. But yeah, that's just that's one example that came to mind.
Great story of channeling something negative into something positive. Yeah, I would say it's yes, all of that Spike just said. But for me, just the community, finding your people. I am a theater kid. I grew up doing theater since the time I was 11, 12 years old, and I didn't really fit in anywhere. And I found my people. I found a place where I felt accepted and I could be silly and crazy and explore all the emotions I maybe didn't know how to handle outside of a stage or when the costume was off, and you were safe in the space to play a character and look another actor in the eye and have an emotional exchange and play. And I literally did my very first play in this building when I was 12 years old downstairs in the Black Box Theater. So this space is very important to me, in a place that I've been able to channel artistic expression on the stage. I cannot play an instrument or paint a picture to save my life, but I've been told by the art teachers that I can, but we'll see. Theaters
let's start her manifestation. What instrument do you want?
Man, I have no idea.
Oboe.
Triangle? Set the bar really low. No, I'm a theater kid. That's my expression. That's what I love to do. And that led to my radio career. And then that led to my found family. And then it led me right back here to the BAC where I get to work.
So with a theater kid, Spike, let me know if you agree with this. This is she should do this. Horns,
Okay.
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Horn section.
Yeah, that's a good one to learn with.
But I've also found, too, that I don't need to be good at all the mediums. I am an appreciator of the arts. I am the one that gets to promote and show and share and bring the community together. That's one of my favorite things to do is help build these festivals and then look out in that parking lot full of 2,000 people with smiles and they're dancing. Like, that's my
I
expression.
know exactly
that
what
feels
you're
so
talking
good.
about. As an organizer, they
I'm
don't know
with you.
that it's like
I'm
months
not
and
an
months and all
artistic
the
either.
phone calls and all the emails and all the follow-up,
Yeah, I'll leave it to them. There's plenty of people doing really
So,
beautiful
I thought,
things.
yeah, or so like I thought I was going to be able to do this, but like I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be able to. Just like the event is tomorrow, Maureen. No,
Show. But in radio
Yeah.
too, like I'm a music appreciator, so I didn't get into that career because I could play or I had record. Like I just love listening to music and I appreciate what musicians do.
Yeah.
I want to show them off.
Yeah.
So that's my way to help and contribute and channel
yeah,
that energy.
great at that too.
Thanks.
Jamie's so cool.
Aw,
I remember one time
Shucks.
you texted or you sent me a message probably 4 or 5 years ago. It's just like, hey, I'm going to be playing this song later tonight. It's just like, that is so cool. She definitely
Well,
does
was when I
local love.
was on the radio show, I
Yeah.
got to do a local show and
Yeah.
playing a local band's song on the radio is still a big deal. It's exciting and to be able to get them excited about it, and then they tell their family and they tune in and
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's
I remember the first time it was kind of surreal. It was on our way
Yeah.
back from Tahoe. And
but that's
it
a
was just
barrier,
like,
like getting on your stuff on the radio. That's tricky.
you ain't lying.
So,
And then,
that's why I
it's
made it a
pretty cool.
point to do that show.
And then even more local once when it happens out of town too, that's another little stripe that you
Yeah.
get and just like, okay, it's not just my local love here.
But you
It has
never
somebody
know who's
else.
going to hear it. So
Never
cut it
know.
out.
So, all right. So back to business here. So
Yeah.
question. Okay. And again, at your discretion, Spike and Jamie, tell us if you can, anybody or someone in Nevada, you just kind of did actually. You just did this. See if you can think of someone else in Nevada whose early hardship became their artistic catalyst.
Yeah, Maria's a great story on it.
No?
I've had a lot of private
I have
conversations
my-
about early hardships with all my.
Oh,
But
yeah. You
somebody
don't
else
have to mention.
specific-
You don't have to mention names. For sure.
I think
know.
just watching the local scene
Mm.
grow, the bridge from Reno to Carson has become smaller and smaller. So there's a lot of collaboration and being in the arts world. We get to watch a lot of just small town Reno kids,
Yeah.
but they're doing it. They're starting their own galleries. They're building interactive spaces.
Yeah.
Recording albums, they're starting record labels, they're on Broadway. Some of the theater kids I grew up with dancing at the high school are now choreographing Broadway shows. So I
Yeah.
think it's small town success stories.
little
Whatever
city.
their childhood
Yeah.
was, this area tends to grow a lot of creative people that maybe they go and then come back and bring it back to their hometown, or maybe they flourish and stay.
Right.
Maybe they never left, but they're still creating.
Yeah. There's a
see
lot
that
of
a lot
there's a
here.
lot of hidden talent.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I've heard that for a long, long time. Now let's see here. All right. So this next one, I got to get my
Sound effects loading.
sound effect. I like that. Hey, I may have you record that.
Like
I
just
did too. That
I
was
think it's
great.
just-
Yeah, I think so.
Now you have
Cut
it
that.
forever.
Okay, so
Edit
now we're
that out.
going. Of course, I didn't know if you probably don't know this, but Kel is a certified master life coach. Yeah.
Help.
So what we
No.
try to do is offer. This is basically a lightning round for life coaching. Even though you're not certified, the question is you'll have 30 to 60 seconds.
Mm.
To
To
kind of
give
chime
advice
in.
or get advice?
Get.
Oh,
Yeah, whatever you
gotcha.
think.
And,
All
and
right.
we want your thoughts too.
This is not
It's-
my private personal therapy session with Kelly.
No.
Okay.
We can do that later.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
off.
If you start doing that, then you don't hear that.
Got it.
Just everything's on standby. All right, so let's see. Okay, Spike, this one's geared toward you. Not that it wouldn't apply to you, but
See.
what's one mindset that helps an artist keep going during rejection?
That's a good question.
Question.
Love it when people say that.
They're stumped.
Yeah.
It just takes a minute to think about.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Rick Rubin, the producer, and he's just big on the school of thought that if you're making your art for other people, you're doing it completely wrong, and you just have to make it for yourself, and then you'll find your people from there. And I think that's just really important, is to just, you have to make your art for yourself first. Yeah.
Yeah. Where does that place, follow-up question, where does that place come from for you? Because, of course, as you know, the process for writing.
If I knew where that came from, I would make art every day. It just comes from where it comes from.
You have to do it.
It's a channel.
Is it something that you consciously do, or is it something that's random as far as your inspiration for writing a song?
It's random for me, for the most part.
I like it. Jamie, is perseverance or adaptability more important to an artist's journey? Perseverance or adaptability?
I think adaptability, if you had to choose one, because the state of how you get your art out is constantly changing, like we mentioned earlier with media. I mean, if you don't know how to use technology, you're going to miss out on so many opportunities. If you are scared to go out and talk to humans directly, you got to be able to bob and weave and put yourself out there. I think the perseverance, they're kind of intertwined, but you got to adapt the way you persevere.
Yeah, you have
great answer.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, Spike, what is the biggest, I think you may have kind of hit on this a little bit already, but what's the biggest falsehood that artists believe early on in their career?
Biggest falsehood.
Or myth. What are some big myths?
I would say, just to chime in while Spike's thinking, that they are not an artist. If you're making art, you're an artist. Whether you've sold or whether people know who you are. I had a theater teacher that told all the theater kids at Carson High, you're already an actor. You're doing it. How far you take it?
Your skill level or capability.
You're drawing, if you're playing an instrument, so you are an artist.
That's a great point, too.
I think hands down the biggest myth is the overnight success.
Well, for sure.
Like, you hear about these overnight successes all of the time, but then, I mean, everyone who's an overnight success has spent the last decade or more just like
slagging it out. Wondering if it's ever going to happen.
Practicing, training, getting rejected.
And it's like, you might go from a coffee shop to an arena overnight, but it's certainly not.
But it's not an overnight success as far as your trajectory goes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's a great point, too.
And you kind of hit on it earlier that if you're doing it for the money, it ain't going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
If you say, hey, start doing this.
If you got an artistic flair and you want to do it for the money, I'd get a degree in graphic design. Be a graphic designer. You'll do awesome.
Sure. Math and science, people. Math and science.
There's space for creativity in corporate, but.
Totally.
All right. Now, this is kind of metaphorical, Jamie. But what would your best advice be for somebody that's ready to hang up a for sale sign on their artistic career?
Take that break. If you feel like it's not coming and it's forced and it's not inspiring, take that break and go live. Go somewhere. Go meet new people. Go see a new place. Be with your family. Cook, touch grass. Get away from it.
But don't proclaim that you're done.
No, I think it comes back. Take the pause you need and go find inspiration or let inspiration come to you just by living life.
I like it.
Yeah,
that was good advice.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so both of you, what is your artist anthem for motivation, whether it's a song that you put on and it gets you fired up, or whether it's an activity? What's your artistic anthem for motivation?
Like a literal song to play?
It could be.
My workout song? My artistic workout song?
Like Kel's artistic motivation is cleaning the cat box. I don't understand it, but she doesn't even have a cat.
That totally depends, I guess, on the mood, I love music so much, and it changes every hour.
Mine too. I just put it on shuffle.
That's like saying, what's your favorite flavor of those chocolates downstairs? Like, they're all good. It depends on what mood I'm in.
Stay away from those, Spike. Those are crazy.
I gave them some chocolates. Mood dance chocolate.
It's right.
No, that's the hardest question. Like, pick the one. Spike, do you have a motivation song?
Saturday Night Fever?
Let's go by Calvin Harris.
Sometimes I need to get sad or mellow. Sometimes I need to chill out. Sometimes I want to, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a mood thing.
It is.
So there's not one go-to. Like if you just there's no Rocky, Eye of the Tiger song.
Mixtape.
Yeah. Okay.
With a theme, with an energy theme.
said song or activity. Like for me, if I wake up early and take a nice walk and drink a glass of lemon water, that gets me going.
That's
What
into the
happened to
day.
you, bro?
Yeah.
That's always been the thing.
He is almost 40.
Yeah, I mean, even Spike at his most rock and roll.
It's
Like
the balance
yeah.
of the rock
You have-
star
you-
answer.
You know what? That's a good point. You're a good guy. You
Yeah,
never got in trouble.
No, I mean,
Right? There's no wild Spike stories.
Yeah, I started to say.
For another show.
I've heard. Yeah, that's like.
Well, not the
It's-
kind I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Reno. Everything gets around Reno.
Yeah.
and that's probably
Here, you won't hear
That's
about
why he
Spike
moved
down
to
on
Carson
4th Street
City.
on Matt.
that's why there's no wild Spike stories. Is because I chose to spend most of my life in Reno, where even at my most wild, it was pretty tame.
There's
What's
something-
All
Keep
right.
Reno awkward. I miss that.
It's still awkward.
While we're on the life advice section, could I share the
Yes.
best piece of life advice that I ever got?
Oh yeah.
I met Harry Shearer one time.
He-
He was in the band Spinal Tap, who some folks might know. He did many voices on The Simpsons. It was
That's right.
yeah, right around when I was graduating high school. It was like senior year. I went to LA because A Mighty Wind had just come out, and they were doing a live concert of that. And I got to meet Harry Shearer after. And I was like big into theater in high school, and so I got to meet Harry Shearer, and I was like, "What is your advice for a young actor?" And I think it applies to pretty much every art. And he said, "Well, talent is good, luck is better, persistence is key."
That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
And I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it's so true. It's just like
Because how many times have can you relate to this where whatever, local, regional, where somebody has the talent to be that guy?
100%.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
so
But
many
they
bands
just
that
don't
can
get
do
They
there.
that.
just
Yeah.
don't get there.
Yeah.
Or they start having kids.
Or demons of their own get in their way.
Yeah. Because they just kept
It's
going.
kind of analogy wise, it's kind of like the same thing that you can have this amazing athlete in sports that has everything to make it to the pros, and he gets his knee blown out his sophomore year.
That part
Huge.
is
Yeah.
a
That's the luck
bigger
part.
part than we think.
Yeah.
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 And it all has to do with kind of honing and filtering through who makes it to that top 1 to 3%.
And bad luck or good luck.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. So let's go with how, of course, the state level. Let's talk about state level support. Do you guys have, you talked, I think, a little bit about some things. Is that,
Yeah, so
is
we
that-
do get some support at the state level. The Nevada Art Council gives us some operating support, which is a grant process. We fill out the grant, knock on wood that we get it again.
Yeah,
this
a
year,
lot of
'cause
that
the grants
funding
are
has been.
Yeah.
in review right now. Yeah, they are largely funded through the National Endowment for the Arts, which luckily has not been hit as hard as the National Endowment for the Humanities, which just got fully gutted this year, unfortunately. But we do get some great operating support from them, which I mean is just like, it's not even doing the math in my head. That's probably about 5% of our operating budget for the year comes from the Nevada Art Council, which is awesome. And we get great support from the State Historic Preservation Office, which again, that is a grant process. So we have to fill out, all of the information on what we're trying to do, and they support tons and tons of historic buildings across the state. They work on great projects everywhere, Southern Nevada, things out in Ely, things in
To
rural
stay
places.
in front of them and fill
Yeah.
out the application and do the
Yeah.
work and raise your hand and ask for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are, both Nevada Art Council and the State Historic Preservation Office are 2-year grant cycles. So like Art Council, we will fill out the grant and then we will get the money in 2 chunks, 1 year after the other. Ship them once the grant gets approved, then it's just we kind of get the money as the work is taking place.
The Visitors Authority, is that a state agency?
I'm always confused on how it works. I know that Visit Carson is what they call sub-government,
Right.
and I don't know exactly what that means. So the way that they get money for arts and culture funding is there's a 1% tax on hotel rooms that then becomes the budget for arts and culture, which is, next time you see a picture of a new sculpture online and you think to comment, "Oh, why don't you fill in the potholes?" Well, I'll tell you, you don't fill in the potholes because that is not how budgeting works.
Not where
like not a
pothole
line
money comes
Right.
from.
Taxes are
Different
like
allocation.
very,
Okay.
very specific in the ways it gets spent. So I would say that we get more support from Carson City than anyone else. And I want to give a huge shout out to David Peterson, who's the executive director of the tourism down here, because he is, for years and years and years, especially in Nevada and the casino towns, the mentality has just been heads and beds, heads and beds. All that matters is how many people are staying at the hotels. And David Peterson has this really refreshing viewpoint that to make the kind of city people want to visit, you have to make the kind of city that people want to live
Live
in.
in.
Yeah, they are the destination sponsor on, the majority of our events. They're a huge help with the Carson City Murals and Music Festival. They support the Levitt concerts as well. Carson City does not support them, but the Carson City Tourism Department absolutely supports them. They support the Mark Twain Days Festival, the Cinco de Mayo Festival, our Tamale Festival. They are supporting the Pride Festival. So, I mean, they're just like, yeah, the tourism folks, absolutely, of anyone in Carson, hands down, Visit Carson City is doing the most for the people of Carson.
And we see it as local as it is. There's a lot of visitors. I get to sit downstairs in the exhibition hall as sort of the greeter visitor center, and I see people from all over the country coming, and they find us and they stop by and they just wander in through the door, or I heard about you, or I looked up cool art things to do and you're the first thing that popped up, and then they come back. That's what I've learned, is they plan their vacations now to put Carson City on their map, that they want to come for one of the specific events and then go out and explore the murals or something else that maybe is not our event necessarily, but it started here because they wandered into our lobby and are welcomed to Carson City.
Do you have any recent or favorite recollection of somebody that's attended one of your classes or workshop or something like that and actually learned something there? You see them put it in practical application, and then they improve enough to where they pursue this, and sustain their passion.
Taken off and become huge success in the art world.
This is a little different than the question, but I really got a kick the other day out of Paul, who we were telling you about, is doing this 4-week sculptural class. And one of the folks that came to take it is the guy who runs Ogre's Home Pottery, which is a great pottery studio here in Carson City and does tons of stuff. And I just that's really neat that, we're doing stuff at the level where even the other kind of leaders in the arts in Carson City still want to come here and take some of the workshops.
He's got his own
That is
pottery
cool,
business, and he's here taking a pottery class.
Yeah.
Which that's definitely, if you're down in Carson, check out Ogre's Home. That's a really fun spot to go. And they're the one who do the Empty Bowls program every year, which is a great fundraiser. It's the same night as the Silver and Snowflake Festival of Lights. It's just kind of like a soup and chili feed where you buy these cool pottery bowls for $5, and then that supports good
You can
causes.
go make the bowls.
I love it. You guys, what do you think? This is pretty cool stuff.
It's really,
It's a
really
great
impressive.
hub. It's a great.
It is.
Yeah.
You guys really put it on the map. You've been working at this a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I remember when you got the job, Spike,
Yeah.
and was like, wow, okay.
And we all went, what? He's gonna be the what?
Well, I got to give a ton of credit to my predecessor, Gina Lopez, who did just a wonderful spot. This place was on the verge of bankruptcy when she became the executive director. She totally turned it around, got it on the upswing, really started activating it, and then also got it through the pandemic in a very graceful way. and still
Creative way.
provided- So I do have to, I feel great about all the things I've done here, but I always have to say that
Gina set you up.
I got to take it from a really place of strength, really, that made it easier to build on.
She pretty much kind of got it turnkey for you, where you had to come in.
We've definitely expanded and grown a lot since then, and
Yeah.
she's down now in Escondido, California, running the Center for the Arts down there.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, would you see, is there going to be any kind of expansion from what you guys are doing here through Nevada, or is this the hub and this is it?
As far as growing outside of
Mhm.
Nevada or expanding here in
So
our own campus?
Either or,
Yeah,
taking your model, and doing it somewhere
I think
else,
the
of course.
campus unification project is the most exciting, potential, hopeful thing that I'm looking at right now, being
Mhm.
back and seeing how much it's grown. Spike can talk
Yeah.
on it a little
Yeah,
more.
Yeah, we're talking to some civil engineers right now. We're working on a plan because we have these two buildings, and a lot of people will be in the brewery building and they won't realize that the old church across the street, which is now a performance hall, is ours, or they'll be at the performance hall and they won't realize that this building is
Right.
ours. So we are working on a plan to just kind of tie the whole campus together. And then, as far as expanding on a bigger, more national scale, I am, my dream for the place, of course, which is lofty. I'm not
Go for
guaranteeing
it.
But I really think that we're in a kind of a unique position, and especially as, federal funding and things like that become harder and harder to access, I would really like to build a model of how a state art council, tourism folks, and a capital city art center can really make a thriving model kind of based off of an endowment fund. I could go off for hours about this.
Yeah.
I have a really nice document written up about it, but I don't have my elevator pitch yet. But I am hoping that we can really dial things in a way that will help a lot of other folks across the country figure out how to make art sustainable in their community, because that's what it's really
Like
all
pulling
about.
from their resources that they have available to make art in their specific
kind of
community.
like being Edon in the art realm.
This is how we did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I like it.
Once we can beef up our endowment fund, that's one of my main goals while I'm here, is to get a decent endowment that will then help sustain this place through the years. And once we get to that point, I would love to see us be a granting organization where we can give out grants that maybe have less red tape than city, state, and federal grants tend to have.
Yeah.
And Sierra Arts Foundation does a great job with that in Reno as well. And
one of the things about working with the Levitt Foundation, it's all over the country. And we get to go to a bit of a retreat at the beginning of the year with all the other organizations, and you meet the coolest people that are also running, maybe not necessarily an art center, but whatever their venue happens to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to compare notes and share and say, how do you do it? How do you draw your crowd out? What does your space look like? Just kind of expand the view of how other places in the country are making art, accessible and free art, has been one of the most fascinating things for me to get to learn too. Because you can get in your little Carson Reno bubble, and it's nice to open that up and go, how are they doing it on the East Coast? How are they doing it in the Midwest? What is Texas doing in their little pocket over here with sharing secrets?
You're employing the mastermind concept of two minds are better than one.
And it works. You sit at tables with other people and you say, here's my secret. And then they give theirs to you, and you go and you bring it back to your own plate. And maybe it won't work. Maybe it fits. You're like, thank you. Why didn't I think of that? It's very collaborative.
And we are very opposed to the competition mindset. I'm sure it happens in every city, but you guys will relate because I watched this happen in Reno so much. There's like these bar owners and venue owners in Reno that just do not like each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they don't want to work together at all. But the reality is
they're hurting
everyone in Reno that goes
Right.
out to see live music is going to at least 2 or 3 venues every night,
Yeah, and they don't give a crap about the politics behind the
one bit. And if these business owners got together and kind of structured their
Supported each other?
evenings in a way that worked to have a crowd rotating throughout the night, they would all.
Yeah, you can structure
They would all have much
stagger
better
your
business.
event.
Those strip clubs do that. They just this one club or card or whatever. You
Like
can
a
get
stamp
discount.
card?
Yeah, the
Oh,
stamp card.
strip clubs?
Or a beer club.
Sure.
Maybe 3 or 4 venues. It's called alliances. Joint venture.
Yeah. Joint ventures.
It works.
It's
It
huge.
I'm a very
That's
good goose gander type of however you say that. If it's good for you
Good
and
for the goose,
me,
good for the gander.
it's all
Absolutely.
helping.
Well, Mr. McGuire is going to be bouncing here pretty soon. And, I want to thank you, for coming in.
Absolutely.
And not forcing you out the door. You stay,
You
stay
stay as long here in your own place as you want.
Goes by
right.
fast when you just get chat.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, and we should we do what's the I'm going to do what's the verdict right now.
All right, guilty.
And
That was easy.
yeah, that's one of those spike
Next.
stories. But basically something that is either headline or kind of trending or something. You'll get the gist of it. But basically, what you have to do is after the statement, give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, and then tell us why.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And so
They're not going to see the thumb.
this is a good one.
Sorry.
Just
I
say
just
it.
love
No,
visual
you're
aids
right.
on radio.
You're right. You're right. Video's coming. Video's
I
coming.
know. I'm
But yeah,
teasing
just say thumbs up or thumbs down. That's a good point there.
you, right?
We never thought
She's
of
sharp.
that. We never thought of that. So,
I'm helping
Jamie,
you.
you do
Clever.
this. You do this. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Being in shows where artists are judged. Thumb up or thumb down.
I think it is good for you to take some opinion and then learn how to take the opinion, whether you take it and throw it in the trash or you take it and you improve. It's okay to get some feedback. And
Yeah.
it can be fun. Don't take it too personally that
Yes.
someone
The key.
gave you a blue ribbon. You're not the best, but be
Yeah.
proud
Or
of that.
somebody
Or if someone told
slagged
you you're
you.
crap, you're not. But take it in and process it and then do with it what you will.
And those things are fun too. I remember that's one of the first things.
Are you talking about American Idol and that kind of thing?
More so. Well, I mean, yeah, but you're.
We do judge things here. We do judge
Battle of the Bands.
Competitions and
I
battles.
guess Battle of the Bands.
Battle
type
of the
thing.
Band
You
is
know
a
what I
spike
mean?
question for sure. I've heard people
Those
say
were fun.
do not, but now people are angry at Battle of the Bands. It's a
Well,
spike
it's always
question.
so God. Like you're saying, it's difficult for people to take constructive
Yeah.
criticism. Right? There's a cognitive dissonance that comes in. They just hate us. And all these different things instead of
Or the
asking
deck is
themselves, like,
stacked, like some band,
Mhm.
stacked the audience if it's
Mhm.
applause meter.
And
all their
Yeah,
friends.
and there may be some validity to that.
Well, that
you know.
tells you get some more friends
Yeah.
and fans. And
Yeah,
you just stack your own
exactly.
deck. Like there's
They
a learning
promote it.
opportunity in
Yeah.
all of it if you don't take it too personally.
But the exposure, hate to say that, your exposure bucks. Yeah,
bucks.
your exposure bucks, that you get. And going through it sometimes, and what you also forget, we did this thing called 2009, somewhere around there, 2010.
It's all a blur.
Cash for Clash, right? And so we went there to just meet people because we had I think we had 4 songs, and we were just like, we just want to open up for somebody 30 minutes. Come on, man, give us a chance, type of thing. And, Chape says, you don't have an EPK or anything that I can listen to or anything like that. I'm not going to put you up there. He goes, but there's this thing called Cash for Clash. There's going to be 25 bands, and I think Scotty Roller was one of the judges or something like that. So at the end of this thing, they had a cash prize for Johnny and Rigorous Proof. They got the cash prize, but then the rest of them all the way through, you get to headline a local showcase. It was 3 or 4 weeks later. And so we end up winning this thing because we only had to play 2 songs, one by the Clash and one of our originals. So we ended up winning this thing. But we're 3 weeks away from headlining this local thing. We only have 4 songs.
You better get to writing. Well, it can lead to opportunities. Competitions can lead. Maybe the competition itself is a disaster, but maybe you meet someone that's your new band member.
That's networking.
Put it out there.
Get out there. Go do something.
You're gonna learn something.
Get out there, people. Don't be so scared. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Is social media, or let's go to Spike here. Is social media more valuable than formal workshops? Because you guys are doing both. That's a tough one, huh?
Different.
It says social media manager on my business card, so I'm really watching to see what he says for this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
It's apples and
pass.
pencils.
Is there a pass?
Yeah. What do you
there's a
mean by
pass.
workshops? What do you formal workshops in?
Well, let's say if you guys charge ticket prices in this room, it says it comes complete with a lunch or whatever, and so is going to be here to speak on this, and then that would be a workshop.
Yeah. I would use social media to tell people about said workshop.
Yeah.
Put together some videos, and put them together as far as that.
I'll give you a sideways thumb. Social media is such a wild thing, but it's a very necessary part of promoting yourself as an artist in this day and age. And I mean, I think it's I think they're apples to oranges because social media is promotion, whereas a workshop is learning.
Education.
Yes, and you have all these, and you have these built-in things, Cal, where if you're here at a workshop, you're actually pressing flesh. Hey, how you doing? You're meeting somebody eyeball to eyeball.
Both valuable,
connection.
though. I think both valuable.
Just different.
All right, we'll push that one. Artist collectives versus solo branding.
I think you have to have one before you have the other. You have to brand yourself before you join a group.
That's a good point.
I don't know how to thumbs up or thumbs down versus question.
Again,
I will say I'm a huge advocate and proponent for artist collectives. I was really involved with the Potentialist Workshop. Before that, my band was rehearsed at the Valley Arts Research Center. And, it's really cool. Like Greg Gilmore and I, we have the Loudest Folk studio is in the Potentialist Workshop. And it's just so inspiring because you go to your art space and as you walk in, it's all these artist stalls and it's totally different every time. You know what I mean? It's even one day to the next, you come in and everyone's been painting all day. And there's all this art that wasn't there yesterday. And that is very inspiring.
Cool.
And it's great to have people to commiserate with and people to chat with when you're taking little breaks. But I mean, then I think, all of those artists then in turn kind of have their solo brands. So I think that's just kind of
But yes, on collectives.
I love it. So Spike, speak on the long-term role of the brewery arts and building, because you have some big ideas and I know you're going to do them. But when you think about the phrase a cultural ecosystem, is that something that you're after?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always been a big proponent of the cultural ecosystem. We're still doing Loudest Folk. Loudest Folk does the first Thursday show at the museum every month. But in the early years and kind of the middle years of Loudest Folk, we have thought, well, it'd be really great if we had an open mic because Loudest Folk is great and we love having new artists, but there's also new artists coming to town all the time that we don't know about. We don't have a way to meet. So it's really important to have those various stages where it's okay, we've got the open mic, and then that is a talent pool that then helps feed Loud as Folk, and then Loud as Folk helps people get better promo packages that help them book themselves on their own just because they've got, some better content and one more thing on their resume. So I'm all about an artistic ecosystem for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Satellite spaces.
Yeah.
100%.
And mention again for the listening audience, where do you have your open mics at?
So Open Spike Night has since retired, but Greg Gilmore is still doing open mics Wednesday nights at Cypress, which is in downtown Reno.
That's right. Midtown.
That's right. Midtown. Yes. Sorry.
Is that where the old Saint was?
It is.
That's what
yeah. And then, we're going to be doing an hours shift coming up in the winter here because we just got our first official liquor license, which I think we should have been grandfathered in.
That's breaking news as well.
You think? Since you were the original?
Since we were the original.
Oh, come on now.
But yeah, we're going to be looking to do some open mics here as well.
Some evening hours. We're open during the daytime right now. It's more of a touristy visitor center, but we want to be open.
That's
People come in after work and get some chocolate, get a drink.
Yeah, it's like if you
maybe an open mic.
You want your culture to sustain, like you really have to
have
foster it and nurture it from the earliest stages. Like our resident theater company over in the performance hall is Wild Horse Children's Theater, and Carol Scott and her crew do an incredible job. And that's like so many kids in Carson. That is their introduction to the arts. And we have people come in here, like daily, and they're like, I was in a show when I was 5 years old.
People are very proud of
life has
I
gone
have
on
that
to be.
story.
That's where I got my start.
Yeah. So, it's
do.
just like you cannot undercut helping people learn and helping people grow, because otherwise you're just going to run out. There's going to be nobody.
So let's hit on how you take care of the conveyor belt. Let's think of it like that, of artists that are here, established, they've paid their dues. You guys know who they are. You know that if you book them, that they're going to bring it. And then, of course, the people that have been working hard, they're waiting in the wings saying, give me my chance, give me my chance. So how does the Brewery Arts as an organization balance that, where, say the established guard isn't just like totally dominating and there's no room for people to move up? Because here's why I asked this.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that having lived here almost 30 years, and being involved in the music scene and stuff like that, I can't remember who told me, but nothing's going to happen by you staying in town all the time. So once you have your market penetration here, you need to get out, because that's like the second level for you to prove or test marketing and stuff like that. Yeah. Am I on the right track?
Yeah.
Right.
No, 100%.
So
it's like, if you play the same town 4 nights a week, you're going to have a hard time drawing people. And there are, there's plenty of ways that you can go about playing in the same spot. But if your aspirations are to like get out to that next level, you really have to.
Yeah, where you want to earn a living with your music, you need to get out.
Too much availability with something like that drops your value too.
If
people think they can go see you any night, anywhere, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that some other time."
They're going to choose the one
put
that's
it off,
only there.
but they'll pick the one.
Or if you're charging 20,
comes once a month,
$25, for a ticket, same type of thing. They're just like, I'll wait for 3 weeks and get into the show where they go there for free. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're shooting themselves in the foot. But who is your talent buyer, for example, or how do you guys mesh that? Am I making sense with the question? I mean, what's
totally.
the cutting line that you guys look for?
Well, so there's, one really cool thing about Brewery Arts Center and the way we function is there's like, at any given time, 10 to 15 other nonprofits that are kind of using us as their home base, as their headquarters. Like I said, Proscenium Players, Wild Horse Children's Theater Company, KNVC 95.1 FM. They just moved into the basement of the performance hall.
Is that Steve Funk's?
Yeah.
Right on.
End of the Trail Broadcasting. So we've got them in here. NAA is their own separate organization. So that's one way to really make sure that there's a very diverse crew coming through. Silver State Storytellers does these amazing film competitions. Mm-hmm. So really relying on this network of partners that are all kind of cultivating their own different aspects of the arts. That helps us stay pretty wide open.
Providing the home base, really. I mean, we have the room and the crew, and that we know how to do these special events. We can help you, but we're the umbrella.
Yeah.
People are coming under us
and
doing their own thing.
Yeah. And you guys kind of feed off each other, though, right? Mm-hmm. Because it still gets down to the community.
Proscenium Players presents their show at the Brewery Arts Center.
Right. Sure. So it's just more awareness.
Broadcasting live from the Brewery Arts Center, but it's more collaboration.
And then as far as, talent buying, it's, maybe 25%. to 40% of our programming is BAC programmed programming, and a lot of it is just other folks coming in and using the spaces. So I do that. I select the bands for the summer concerts, and that's just kind of a wide variety. Our main thing here is bands have to play at least 80% original material.
I like that.
Yeah, it's like Nevada's got all kinds of great opportunities for cover bands and tribute bands with the casinos, because that is really what the casinos focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's important for us to kind of cultivate the original artists, and that's also really important to the Levitt Foundation, is they want to see you cultivating the original artists and bringing original musicians touring through. And that's just kind of a combination of things. The Levitt Network is very established, and a lot of music agencies know about that. So we have a lot of people reaching out to us because of that. And then my main thing is just making sure that we have lots of different genres represented, and then we're not really stuck in one wheelhouse. So, I'll just say, like, for example, Celtic is a huge night for us every summer.
Carson loves their Celtic night.
And we've had a lot of
We
different...
just had the whiskey crawl up in Reno.
And we've had a lot of different great Celtic bands here over the years. And I was like, I really want to bring somebody new this year that we haven't seen yet. And I was like, what Celtic bands do they have in Utah? And so I just Googled Celtic bands Utah. And we found this incredible band, and they were like
amazing.
one of the favorites of the summer.
Yeah. Swagger.
I mean, it's kind of all over the place. And like, my office door is always open, and we're able to do... We have a very limited budget, but we have very open minds. And so a lot of folks that come in, a lot of things we do are just ticket splits with no minimum, basically. So 70% will go to the artist, and then 30% goes to us for admin fees. And that includes making the promotional graphics for it, running the ticketing for it, eating the ticket fees for it.
Oh my God.
All the social promotion.
All the social promotion. So that's like...
It's a pretty good deal.
It works for everyone, because then we can bring in things without taking a big risk where we're going to lose on our end. And then it's also lets, different theater companies, different bands, all kinds of stuff come in without any risk of losing money on their end, because they're not paying the rental fee to come in and do it. So we're really all about the co-promotion. Yeah.
Like artistically, hospitality, artist hospitality, really. Like you said, a band maybe is playing in their small town. They should get out. They can come here. So if they're from somewhere else nearby, I hope that artists are noticing, hey, Carson City is a place that I can go play and draw a crowd and get a good deal. So being open door hospitality for artists to come and want to be here, treat them right, and they want to come back.
The bands that kind of work their way up to that point of like really having proven a good local draw and just like a really high caliber of musicianship, those are the ones that get to open the Levitt show. And like, we have our big Jumbotron video wall set up next to the stage. Well, all of that video footage gets recorded, and so we can give that to those artists, and then that helps them go out and book stuff.
Gosh,
I
Professional festival photographers.
References for them. It helps them get in on the Levitt network as well. So we really think we were able to give some kind of unique...
We're kind of like an art collective in our own little way. We're just collecting from all over.
Yeah, an artist collective for sure.
We want people to want to come here.
Well, I do hate to run out, but I've hit the point where I absolutely have to go.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us on the show.
Great job you're doing here. Wow. Like, I'm so impressed. I don't know what to do with myself.
Good job, Spike.
I'm going to start coming down here.
That's what you do.
That's what we want to hear.
You join the party.
And tell me about the membership levels.
Have the pamphlet. So Spike touched on some of these earlier. Like we said, there's the personal one. I can just literally read it directly. It's $50. An ally is $100. A friend is $200. Supporters $500. Advocate is $1,000, and a champion is $2,500.
And what does each level get you?
Yes, and so you can go to breweryarts.org as well. We have paper. You can actually fill it out, or you can sign up online. And so the $50 a year, you get those artist receptions that Spike was talking about, and you get to have your own artwork displayed in our members show. So that's a barrier-free access to a show in the gallery. Then it goes up from there, and each one piles on to the next. So you get everything from the Ally, you get free tickets. We partner with Carson City Classic Cinema Club. That's another fun one. We have a movie screen, and every first Monday of the month, they show Casablanca or the original Wizard of Oz. Or, it is so much fun. And the cool thing about that event, you can download that, you can stream that, you can find it at home, but people want to go out to the theater and watch their old favorites. So that is brought that back. So you get free tickets to that one as one of the membership perks. Again, it goes up for mostly access to our ticketed and paid things because so much of it is free. And then as you get in the higher brackets, you're getting a little more advertising opportunity. We have a video wall in the lobby that's rolling.
Okay.
We'll put your logo on that. Or maybe we'll do a meet and greet for your family and your employees during the Levitt shows. You get to meet the band. So the perks start to go up from there. And then the big one, you get all of it. You get all kinds of good stuff. And then corporate memberships too. It's great for businesses to get your logo. Like we said, we can have up to 2,000 people in that parking lot. If your banner is right there and you're getting tagged on all those social media posts and we're saying, hey, Red Wing Shoes, they joined last year and we love those guys and they're a great local business. And it's that cross promotion. They send people to us and we send people to them. So it's a really smart move, especially in Carson City, to collaborate and show your customers that you support the arts. A Kilpatrick Bolentini law firm, Angela is a huge supporter of the arts, and it comes from her just wanting art in her own community. And she has the platform with her business to send a little love our way. And so everybody knows who she is and they see her banner in our parking lot during a show.
Well, we don't have a date yet. Do you think, like a podcast pageant contest?
Podcast contest.
Yeah, like people that would be aspiring podcasters.
To win a spot. Interesting. That might be something you want to ask Mr. Funk down in the basement at KNVC, and we'll help you.
Like, have a panel of judges, have them do their thing for 15 or 20 minutes. And
the possibilities are endless. That's one of the things I love about being the actual home and the umbrella and the hub. People ask all the time, well, can I rent that room and do this? Yeah. The answer is usually yes.
Just based on availability.
Exactly. And schedule ahead. These rooms get booked up. Yeah. The film festivals are another fun one. And that's a judged competition. They do, we're getting ready for the Carson Creepy Halloween one.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's Love Notes in February, Valentine's Day love stories. And then we just did the Moon Rocks sci-fi film competition. So that's 3 local film competitions. It's local filmmakers, and they're challenged to win. And we do an award ceremony, best actor, best special effects. It's a ton of fun. And that's 2 other nonprofits that come in and use our space, and we collaborate with each other.
And you're just having fun here, Jamie.
I am grateful every day to be here. Tragedy turned into something positive.
Right.
I came back to Carson City. I've been in Reno, back up. I was born here, born and raised. Carson Tahoe Hospital used to be right down the street. That's where I started my life. Yep. And then I moved to Reno and had a totally different life and career. 25 years I was up in Reno. And then about 2 years ago, my mom had a debilitating stroke. And I came home. I sold my house. I quit my radio career that I worked really hard for, but you had to do what you had to do. And then I came home to take care of Mom and wasn't sure what I was going to do. I didn't come home with a plan. I just came home to, tackle the challenge.
You did the right thing.
And then it's very serendipity. We had another artist that was working in the gallery and she needed to go on tour with her band. And so Spike found out I was here and he called and said, hey, do you want to fill in for Jen while she's on tour? And I never left, and Jen said, you take it. This is more suited for you. She's still touring with her group. And this has snowballed into this little part-time gig it's now my passion, but it allows me to be at home with Mom.
The time.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I can be in the gallery space for a 4-hour shift and then I can work from my computer for the social media aspect of it and the special events and really plan. And this team of 6 here is amazing. Like we help each other. And if one has to go or if an emergency, we can cover each other. Yeah. So I am ridiculously grateful and lucky and very aware of what I'm holding right now.
I love it. Well, anybody that is in the Northern Nevada area, breweryarts.org is where you want to go to check them out. So what do you guys think about this quote? We're about ready to wrap this segment up today. Quote, artists are not rare. Authentic artists are.
I think I can agree with that. Because we're all artists in a way.
Yeah. I think, like I mentioned earlier, if you're making art, you're an artist. So I take a little question with the word authentic, because if somebody Does that mean like their intention or why are
Yeah,
they
what do you
doing
mean by
it? Or
authentic? Like,
That's a fair question.
yeah,
What if
I don't know. Think
you know,
on those
just I don't
words
know,
though.
authentic artists are, because that's different than say legitimate artists are or whatever,
That
which
is-
is still subjective. I think the authentic artists are is like sometimes, you know, whether it's music, I can't speak so much on the painting side, but sometimes there can be more about me than about everybody else.
But maybe
You know,
that's the therapy that person needs to process whatever they're getting through. So I think if you're
For sure.
making something, you're creating something with positive intention, no
Yeah.
harm intended, then I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe everyone is.
Yeah, maybe I don't. You know, to me that is kind of like a little bit of a judgy quote. It
It
wasn't my-
is. I take
it
a
wasn't
little.
my- it wasn't my quote.
Trading. What?
It wasn't my quote.
I'm not blaming you.
and artistic expression doesn't have to be music, painting, sculpture, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can be a culinary artist. You can be
Yes.
a media artist. You can be a construction
Art
artist.
is everywhere.
Art
start
is
looking.
is to me is the beauty of the essence with which you do something.
The art of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, well, like and I agree. That's because you can take like absolute junk and then people can turn that into art.
Mhm.
That's fun stuff.
It's all
You know.
subjective,
Yeah,
though.
it
Yeah.
really
Or
is.
some people might look at something that someone spent so much of their time on and go,
What the
"Meh,
heck is that?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
don't like it." But for them,
That's more graphic.
that's my life's
Or-
work.
Yeah.
Now, what about this stat? Artists who exhibit early are 40% more likely to continue in art professionally. That's industry-based data right there. So artists who exhibit, which you guys do
Mhm.
early in their career, are 40% more likely to continue in art professionally. And I think that's
makes sense.
right.
They get a little taste of
Yeah.
that, and so they want
Sure,
to
and if they get
continue.
positive reinforcement.
But then you
Yeah,
look at
that's
Maria
it right
Merman's
there.
story, who did not make her art until she was 80. And now she's continuing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think by default, the earlier you start,
I
the
think-
longer you.
Yes, as a qualifier, probably like even though she didn't start when she was 80, she didn't hesitate by the
Yeah.
time she started creating to get her stuff out there.
Right.
And so I guess that's what the
So
point
she
is.
did
It's
show
like,
early,
yeah, you know,
Yep. right
Yeah,
away.
really.
Yeah,
And what-
so make art and put it out there.
get it out there.
do-
Here's another fact that we'll end with. Mentored artists, which you guys are doing here, mentored artists are twice as likely to apply for shows and grants. So there's that teaching component.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Sure.
And that's just an
Finding a
encourage.
The
mentor.
support, feeling supported helps you give you the confidence and the courage to
Yeah.
put yourself out there.
I
Sure.
would agree with that one.
Sure.
That's an easy one.
That's easy.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to try this one. It's the end of the show.
Oh, I was like, how does that donkey apply to mentorship? The mentor mule.
Now we start doing this. As it is. Kel, what do you think?
I think this was awesome.
It's fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to Moon
Moon Dance
Moon Dance
Chocolates. That
Chocolates.
is Laura.
is exhibited
She
here.
is
in
a
our
one-woman band. She makes those chocolates by hand on the
Organic
BAC
Belgian
campus.
chocolate.
You can only get them
Mm.
here.
I love it. I love it. So it looks like we're wrapping this up. Again, I want to thank Mr. Spike McGuire for getting this thing set up. And of course, actually, I think maybe Jamie set it up more than anybody, so
you know.
just to, truth be
I'll get
told.
more collaboration. You'll never know.
But I got a feeling we're going to be back here for some reason, doing something.
Yeah.
Who
Oh,
knows?
yeah.
Who knows what it's going to be? But well, Kel, that is our masterpiece for episode 19 of What's the Matter. So huge thank you to Spike again and Jamie from the breweryarts.org. Okay. The Brewery
you.
Arts Center here in Carson City, Nevada. But next Wednesday, 4 p.m., we're digging in again by asking what's the matter with filmmaking. I'm going to be taking a weekend to be helping out with a film project in Lake Almanor. And we're going to be set up with Emily Skyle Golden and Indie Production Insights on a dark comedy doing it. Lying ahead. We'll let you know. But until then, keep creating, keep struggling, and lean into whatever fuels your art. This episode was powered by World Matters Incorporated and crafted by Big Bongo Productions. So I'm the G-Man with Kel, and that's what matters today. We'll look forward to next time. See you!